the live, but we're gonna get into this video, man. We're gonna talk about immigration, ICE deportation, everything. So if you wanna have a conversation, this is the best time to have a conversation. This is an interesting topic in the country going on right now in the United States. So let me know. Let me start this video over. We can
Fanning out on the front lines of sweeping immigration changes. Those changes, a campaign promise by President Trump to overhaul the immigration system. Our team's documenting in real time the impact and stakes for so many. The enforcement, confusion, and resistance.
Their parents got booked up right there.
Colliding in communities all across the country.
People united will never be defeated.
We have to call for the masses to come out and swarm if there's an operation like that.
We're putting our lives in danger.
Hands up! Hands up!
Confrontations, raids, and arrests.
Republicans and Democrats have kicked the can down the road when it came to immigration.
But now President Trump testing the limits of his power. Working to deliver on campaign promises to crack down on immigration, issuing orders at breakneck speed in just his first few weeks back in office.
We have the strongest border we've had in many years since my term.
Some of those executive orders more successful than others, from birthright citizenship to refugee status. Deportation are ramping up even as border crossings are down. The administration going so far as to use Guantanamo Bay to house the influx of arrested migrants.
Hey, yo, let me know what your thoughts on immigration and mass deportation. All right, let's have a conversation. Let's go.
Doing an unbelievable job and taking out massive numbers of people.
The president's quick actions applauded by many. A recent poll found more than 80% of Americans support deporting undocumented migrants who've been convicted of a crime, but they oppose sending back.
That's over 50% of the country believe, like, if you commit a crime and you're not documenting, you should be deported. So what's your thought on that? I want to know. Join the conversation.
People who are not criminals. To get a better view of this consequential time, ABC News deployed correspondents all over the nation to find out, what does a week in America look like from the front lines?
How do you think this is happening?
7 days inside communities and alongside law enforcement.
Hey guys, how are you?
What happens next will become a new chapter in American history. We started 1 week ago in Denver as these ICE raids begin. This video from the DEA showing agents and ICE authorities starting work in the early morning hours. Our Mola Langi was on the ground as the operations were underway.
Well, federal authorities, including ICE, DEA, and FBI agents, knocking on doors through...
What's your thought on deportation? Come on, put it. Let's check. Let's have this conversation, all right? It's a deep conversation. Let's go.
Out this Denver
Join the
apartment
chat.
building. Also stopping cars going in and out, taking multiple people into custody this morning. This is just one of multiple immigration enforcement operations happening throughout the Denver area today.
Law enforcement had said publicly that they were targeting the most dangerous, undocumented individuals. At this complex, authorities said they had 2 separate warrants for 2 separate residences. But people we spoke with say agents went door to door, questioning residents at every single unit. More than 100 in total, demanding ID and asking if drugs were inside, like in this Ring camera footage.
Any drugs, guys? Come in and check. Speak English? Okay.
They've been here since 6 a.m. in the morning, over here trying to book everybody up. There's people trying to take kids to school, and then the kids...
6 a.m. in the morning, you got ICE looking for illegal migrant. If you're illegal, what do you do? Like, how do you sleep at night? Like, knowing that the government out to get you. Why you put yourself in that predicament? Like, on that situation. It's crazy, but let's go.
That were trying to go to school, their parents got booked up right there.
Now, if you got kids that like going to school and immigration looking for you, what do you do? Do you have the government take care of your kids, or do you get deported with your kids back home? How that situation work? I want to know. You know what I mean? Let's chat. Let's talk about it.
At the same time, down along the southern border, an underlying tension in the communities surrounding our ports of entry, especially in Texas. These ports are the economic lifeblood of their regions, both by water and by land, but also where Border Patrol is focused on stopping the flow of both migrants and illegal drugs. Maria Villarreal is there.
So it's about 3:15, and we are at another port of entry here in the Rio Grande Valley sector. Right behind me, you're going to see this is a vehicle that they believe was stolen, and the person inside was trying to take it into Mexico.
¿Dónde eres, mano? ¿Dónde vives? Matamoros, ¿qué andas tú por acá?
This man here in handcuffs is a U.S. citizen suspected of trying to ram his way through barriers. He was busted by Mexican authorities moments later. The two border teams congratulating each other on a job well done.
We've already verified that the vehicle is stolen, and he is a U.S. citizen. We have documents.
It seemed like an underground situation going on over there. Like a U.S. citizen got a stolen vehicle trying to go to Mexico with a stolen vehicle. I guess he trying to make money out that stolen vehicle. That's the only thing I can get from that, because I don't understand why, but it's good.
So now we're going to take him inside. We're going to look at his rap sheet, if he's got one. We'll fingerprint him, making sure into our databases that there's no warrants or anything of that nature, and then we'll take it from there.
Beyond stopping potential criminals, this port alone scans more than 700,000 trucks of cargo every year, worth more than $50 billion. Customs agents took us inside the warehouse, where they inspect all that cargo, stacks of vacuums, car parts, and produce, looking for illegal shipments or drugs.
Just last night we had a shipment of jalapenos and cucumbers here at the port of entry, but it's over 2,000 pounds of methamphetamine and heroin.
This is what Ivy League universities
that's a lot.
get
That's a
into
lot.
with a
Man,
3.6 GPA.
90% of students with a 4.0 plus GPAs get.
That's a lot of drugs right there, guys.
Cutting off all illegal crossings is popular with most Americans, but other groups caution on how to enforce the law. In California, it's estimated that roughly half of all farm workers are undocumented immigrants. Arcana Whitworth checked in with dairy farmers there.
I'm at a dairy farm in Tulare County, California, where many of the farmers rely heavily on migrant labor, and they would like to see a pathway to keep them here in this country legally, because in many cases, they're more than employees for these people. They consider them family.
We have encouraged them to apply for green cards and go through the process, but it's a very slow process. It's expensive.
So why do rich people hiring illegal migrants and talking about trying to give them pathway to citizenship? That's illegal, right? They should be arrested for that, right? I don't get it. I'm not in the law. I don't know, but the law is being broke on both sides. Let's go.
Are you worried about ICE coming in and taking some of your workers?
Not too worried, but yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. I'll say that. So, yeah. But I would hope not. They've been good people. They're often married. They have children. They're paying their taxes. They're doing the work every day.
By Thursday, the battle over immigration is raging in federal and state courtrooms. The Trump administration filed suit against the city of Chicago and state of Illinois, accusing them of obstructing federal immigration policy, something Illinois denies.
Look, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals.
Alex Perez is there as residents say they're feeling the impact of Trump's new executive orders.
We're here on Chicago's north side near a busy shopping area where a lot of migrant workers gather on a daily basis to look for work. We're going to go talk to some of them.
This man from Colombia has been in the U.S. for a year and a half. He told us he has a family to support, so he comes here to get whatever work is available. Cleaning, debris removal, anything that pays.
That could be human trafficking too. You know what I mean? Hiring people who not is vulnerable because they're not documented. They can't call the police. They can't call for help. So I see that as human trafficking. I could be wrong, but you know what I mean? That's what it looked like to me.
¿Y qué difícil es conseguir trabajo? How hard is it to find work when you come here every day?
A veces la zozobra de las personas que miran a uno mal, como si uno fuera una persona, un delincuente.
He tells us he worries every day that he will be deported.
What's happening? Why are people not?
That gotta be a horrible feeling, knowing that every day you can get, any day, anytime of the day, you can get arrested by the government. That gotta be crazy. A heartbreaking situation.
Coming up.
People are scared of the migra, as we say in Spanish, Latinos.
Which means the immigration
The
officers.
immigration orders.
All right, I thought she said something else.
Restaurant owner Laura Gutierrez says, undocumented or not, fear in this community is widespread and keeping her restaurant empty.
You know what? I pray for President Trump to have some compassion on working people.
This morning we're going to be going after Jose, Napoleon, Serrano, Honduran male.
On Friday, our local affiliate in Charlotte, North Carolina, embedded with ICE as agents went on a stakeout.
We're putting our lives in danger, obviously the alien's life and the people in the community.
Authorities here say they're making arrests daily of undocumented criminals. Friday's target, a Honduran citizen who officials say had been deported twice before and recently arrested for assault with a deadly weapon.
If you're in the country, I don't get this part. If you're in the country illegally, you have no paper, no document. Why, you know what I mean, bring attention to yourself like that? Illegal guns. I don't get it. Yeah, above my head, but let me know. Let me know in the comment what you think.
After a car chase.
He's up in here in the power lights.
And a run through the woods.
That is our target.
Agents got him.
Anything you want to say?
Keep our families together! Keep our families together!
Protests have become a staple across the country since the raids began.
What's the message here tonight?
We're not going anywhere. We're here. You can't scare us. We know our rights. We're not going anywhere.
Peace and plenty!
From towns like Homestead, Florida, a community surrounded by farmland, to big city suburbs. Over the weekend, hundreds took to the streets in New Jersey, an immigrant-rich community outside New York City. Stephanie Ramos went to check it out.
We've seen organizers hand out pamphlets to immigrants so that they know their rights if they're approached by ICE. All of them calling for protections of immigrants statewide. This is for mixed status families, but anybody who needs these resources to know their rights.
I think there's politicians that want to feed people's anger about their individual.
All right, they're talking about they should know their rights. So coming over the border, you don't know that it's illegal, that you can get caught. That's the same about knowing your right? I don't get it.
Situations, and so they want to raise up someone that everybody can hate.
As a new week gets ready to dawn in Washington, immigration lawyers are working overtime on the years-long historic backlog of cases. Some groups are already...
Now, immigration lawyer about to get paid for real. They about to get some real money.
Already suing the Trump administration after being told to stop providing legal aid to migrants.
I'm at AMICA, the Center for Immigration Rights. I'm going to meet with its executive director, Michael.
If you're an immigration lawyer out there,
dealing with all of the fallout from Trump's executive orders. We're going to see what's going on.
There's like 3.7 million cases in the immigration court backlog. And if you take away basic due process, that just gets worse and worse.
Because the courts will have to go through the work that you are doing.
And absolutely.
I want to...
Ramses Freya.
Listen, guys, I want to hear from you, too. I want to hear from y'all that are watching this video. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment or something. I'm here all night. Not going anywhere.
Is the son of Queens, born and raised in the neighborhood of Elmhurst. an area with one of the highest concentrations of immigrants in New York City.
Immigration is broken in the United States, and it does need to get fixed.
But lately, he says, his beloved community has been hard hit by the influx of undocumented migrants.
It's a lot of lawlessness. A lot of our elders were afraid to go outside. We've had illegal vendors that took over blocks.
Damn.
And these blocks pertain to where there's doctor's offices for our elders, you know, and their pharmacies.
Ramses is now running for city council. He welcomes a raids, but feels sorry for undocumented migrants without criminal records who get caught up in the mix.
My message to them is, you know, seek as much help as possible, protect yourselves, you know the laws, keep yourself educated, and live your life.
Listing your house on the market isn't the only way to sell your house. Selling to us is much faster, easier, and way more convenient. Want to know how? If you need to sell your house for any reason, click the link in this video to see if my offer
Is India set to get another plane load of its shackled citizens from another country after the same was done by the United States of America? And we're asking this question because another country now seems to have found common cause with Donald Trump. The UK under Keir Starmer has launched a massive and unprecedented raid against illegal immigration. In January alone, immigration enforcement teams raided 828 premises and arrested 609 people, including at an Indian restaurant where 7 people were arrested and 4 more were detained. But what is most significant in these raids is a 29-second video that was released subsequently by the UK Home Office that is exactly like the one that set tempers soaring in India. The UK Home Office video also shows deportees shackled and restrained being taken into a chartered plane, just like the US Border Patrol had done. Officials confirm that
I guess immigration stuff is everywhere, man. Even in the UK, everybody dealing with the same problem. How can this problem be fixed? That's a problem. Nobody knows. How can you fix this? It's impossible.
Today, we're going to talk about immigration and all the recent crackdowns on immigrants, deportation, everything Trump is doing, and how it affects construction jobs. I'm an immigrant myself. Just a couple of years ago, I brought my brother here, and I want to start with that because the way I got my brother, the way I got in the country myself, I mean, we went through the process.
Yeah, if you want to come over to the U.S., you got to go to the...
Okay, Nectar's President's Day deals are here. Save up to 66% on adjustable base bundle.
You can't just let everybody just come into your house, right? You got to know who come into your house, and you got to know the same kind of background, because, you know what I mean, the world is an evil place, so I understand what's going on with the immigration process.
My real concern right now is the fact that there's a disconnect between the White House, which is sort of touting sort of these overall volume numbers, and the ICE officers and deportation officers that are trying to protect our communities every day, which are focusing on those violent criminals. Quite frankly, arrests of migrants don't always equate to those that can be detained in ICE custody, and those detained in ICE custody don't always turn into sort of removals, right? So you have this push and pull where ICE is focused on the violent criminals that are in our communities, but an administration that continuously wants to focus on sort of this qualitative number to sort of show that they're there. And quite frankly, in the aggregate, week over week, month over month, you actually see these numbers are kind of falling into line with typical ICE arrest numbers in volume. And you've actually seen a precipitous drop in the arrest of violent criminals.
I see. So do you feel that some of this is just for show, reporting these numbers?
Yeah, I mean, what you see now is hundreds of ICE officers being flown into cities that are being, the blue states or Denver, Chicago, LA, Philly, Philadelphia, and they're sort of surging this sort of arrest capacity. And then those officers take time to get back to their home areas of operation, and then arrests go down. So you're seeing the sort of media splash of it, but we need to continue to delve into who are we arresting, who is being detained and who is being removed. Nobody is against. Everyone is for sort of going after violent criminals in our community.
Would you say about half the time an arrest will actually turn into a detainment and a removal?
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen in the last few weeks in Aurora and Chicago, like in one Sunday, you'll have 80 arrests. You know, they'll be focused, you know, ICE is focused where they should be on violent criminals. They'll go out and pick up 12 individuals that have violent criminal records, but there'll be collateral arrests. You know, half of those are released. They're not even detained in ICE or ICE custody, but then they're also, none of them will ever sort of see removal. And that's the sort of sophisticated sort of understanding of the immigration process that folks, I believe, are going to, over time here, over the next few weeks and months, see is the important piece, is getting violent criminals off our streets and those that have no legal pathway to be here to those being removed.
And let me ask you, President Trump wants local sheriffs, local police, jails to be able to identify, detain, and question suspected illegal immigrants, undocumented migrants.
Stuck in limbo, dozens of mostly Venezuelan migrants are sleeping on the streets at Panama's border with Costa Rica, unable to move forward or return home. They say they gave up on reaching the United States after President Donald Trump ramped up deportations.
I have been here for 4 days already. We're trying to enter Panama to reach our country, but the Panamanians won't let us in.
Tensions flared this week as Panamanian riot police blocked a migrant caravan from crossing into the country. On Thursday, President Jose Mulino said he's considering flying the migrants to Cucuta on the Colombia-Venezuela border.
Sending them to Venezuela from Panama is not feasible. We have no contact whatsoever with the Venezuelan government. However, we are exploring the possibility that with this reverse flow, we could fly them from Panama to Cucuta in Colombian territory and establish appropriate and feasible transit from there to Venezuela.
Panama and Venezuela severed ties last year after Panama joined other Latin American countries in questioning the fairness of the elections that kept Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro in power. Many of these migrants originally crossed into Panama through the deadly Darien jungle. Panama's security ministry says they'll have to undergo biometric criminal record checks in Costa Rica before being bussed into Panama for repatriation. Meanwhile, the first U.S. deportation flight carrying 119 migrants from Afghanistan, China, and other Asian countries landed in Panama on Thursday. The move comes just days after President.
A lot of people ask us, what's the difference between mudwater and mushroom coffee? First, we are mushroom coffee. Mushroom coffee is sort of what it sounds like.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house no matter what condition it's in. If you need to sell your house for any reason, click the button under this video to see if my offer is right for you. We make the process of selling your house easy and simple. No commissions, no fees. We'll buy your house in as-is condition, and you pick the closing date. No appraisals, no repairs, no hassles. All offers are completely confidential, and there is no obligation whatsoever.
President Trump is not messing around.
In the early hours of Wednesday morning, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents launched a high-stakes operation. Their target, a man with a long criminal history, Jose Miguel Corral Reyes, an alleged migrant from Mexico. With careful surveillance, ICE officers tracked Corral Reyes to a Marathon gas station in Rex, Georgia. Reuters cameras were rolling as agents swiftly surrounded him, placing him into an unmarked law enforcement vehicle. But what they found next made the arrest even more alarming. A firearm inside his vehicle, ammunition in his pocket. This was no ordinary arrest. Kristen Sullivan, Deputy Field Office Director for Homeland Security, revealed that Corral Reyes had a history of criminal activity, including DUI, shoplifting, and even reckless conduct involving a firearm.
We're doing very well with respect to other countries really behaving on taking the criminals that they sent into our country, and we're getting them out. These are some of the worst people on earth.
And now the Bronx DA says they've been charged in a 176-count felony indictment. Nate Benz, police say you're a trigger puller.
We're here at a secret undercover location in the Bronx where NYPD detectives are getting ready to launch a manhunt for nearly 24 gang members wanted for serious felonies, including murder. It's a Lisa Evers exclusive. Their mission? Stopping the reign of terror caused by teens, young men, and a few women who engage in running gun battles with their opposition or ops at all hours of the day and night, no matter who's in the way, right in their own community.
These cases are the single most impactful reason that shootings trend downwards. It's almost like they were competing with each other to see who could shoot more times.
Investigators say the hatred is fueled by inflammatory disses about murdered ops and drill raps posted on social media. That's aspiring drill rapper Nate Benz, who police say is one of the gang leaders. The average age of the case subjects is 20. Teen girls are trigger pullers too, like the shooter in this video, says Deputy Inspector Craig Edelman.
They're shooting at each other with a yellow school bus filled with kids in between them.
Sergeant Christopher Neal is in constant communication with team members, making sure everyone gets in and out safely.
In recent history, we've seen that impact takedowns or takedowns of this magnitude have a profound impact on the community.
What's going on here? I love you, babe. A female suspect who's 8 months pregnant is brought out in handcuffs from an apartment. What's going on? Why did they pick you up?
They are absolutely firing bullets without remorse or regret and without regard of anybody that's around.
This is one of the most violent crews that I've seen. You made our streets, our communities into a battlefield, and there's no excuse for that.
So you're not a trigger puller? No, I don't pull no triggers.
Please, open the door.
It only took a few seconds between police announcing their arrival, executing an arrest warrant, and a mother unleashing her fury, barring police from entering her Bronx apartment to arrest her son, a suspected gang member. She put up a fight. After minutes of tense moments in a small vestibule, police were able to get control and get her 20-year-old son in handcuffs. They say he's a member of the 1300 crew.
You're probably the most violent guys that are still out on the street.
Surveillance video shows a drive-by shooting, the victim walking down a street. He died right there. And the moment in broad daylight when an innocent 73-year-old woman, you can see her right there falling to the ground. She's shot in the leg.
The bullet goes right through her leg. People deserve better than that.
And it's not just gun violence. The crew allegedly went on a 6-day robbery spree 2 years ago. They brutally attacked an off-duty officer while he was on a morning jog. This surveillance video shows him outnumbered, taking a beating behind that white SUV.
I have so much pain, in my back, my shoulder, my head.
Way back when you raised your hand, why did you take this job?
A man in Chicago answers the door to agents from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, or ICE, and is promptly arrested. The Trump administration says this crackdown is targeting serious criminals, but has warned no migrant without papers is safe.
We've had other countries come to us saying we would love to do that. We would love to take your criminals and we'll maintain that. We'll be their jail.
The lawsuit states that the new policy is causing fear of raids leading to lower attendance at worship
services and other valuable church programs. The Trump administration hasn't commented on the lawsuit. Meantime, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem requested that the IRS help with immigration enforcement. The Wall Street Journal reports that in a memo sent to the Treasury Department, Noem said ICE needs help pursuing financial audits of businesses suspected of having undocumented workers, focusing on human smuggling and trafficking, and assisting with arrests and removals. Noem cited President Donald Trump's Securing Our Borders executive order.
Wednesday morning, federal agencies teamed up to swarm several Denver metro apartment complexes.
Any drugs now? Come in and check.
The ICE Denver office said more than 100 members of the Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA, were targeted in the raids led by Homeland Security Investigations. Our cameras on scene saw several people detained and taken away. We've learned agents made more than a dozen arrests. Some witnesses dispute that violent criminals were the only ones targeted, concerned the door-to-door sweeps to be looking for any undocumented immigrants. At Denver's Cedar Run Apartments, we spoke with a Venezuelan immigrant who asked us not to share his identity because he feels like his brother was already unfairly targeted and he could be next. He says they were leaving for work around 6 in the morning as the ICE raid was starting.
Now, the DEA just released this video from a joint operation with ICE in Houston and the Brownsville area over the weekend. It's part of a much larger nationwide crackdown, as we've shown you, in several big cities across the United States. Now, both agencies confirmed the DEA assisted ICE in arresting a Salvadoran MS-13 gang member accused of terrorism and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. ICE also says they arrested a Mexican national charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon as well, and possession of a controlled substance. Now, the DEA tells me they're using intel to go after illegal migrants with ties to drug trafficking and serious offenses.
Police, let me see your hands.
We got a close look at the team that is targeting violent illegal immigrants in our area.
You have a warrant for your arrest?
What if they arrested what?
With immigration.
The day started early. This is one of the 4 Houston ICE field office's fugitive operation teams.
You guys got the subject in custody?
Team Alpha.
This is every day. We're out there every day in the field.
They met in West Houston near the 14,000 block of Westheimer to talk about their target.
You have your ID in your car?
44-year-old Henry Alexander Paredes Padilla.
Honduran national. He has a final order of removal from an immigration judge. So far, as of today, he has 2 removals.
Padilla is convicted of multiple crimes, including assault of an officer, and he's entered the U.S. illegally at least 3 times. He represents the kind of non-citizen that Team Alpha targets.
We know who we're going after. We do target enforcements, and we're going after criminals.
Let's just spread out around the apartment complex and keep eyes up. You want to hold him right here? Yeah.
A peaceful arrest.
Left hand ready.
While this was happening, the other teams across Houston made 2 more. 41-year-old Mexican national Alanis Mata, who's been convicted of trafficking cocaine and has illegally entered the U.S. at least twice, was arrested in Freeport. And 46-year-old Plow national Shakespeare Ngurmaker, who's convicted of gross sexual imposition of a minor and was in the U.S. illegally, was arrested in Humble.
The order of deportation.
All 3 suspects were taken to be processed. Then they'll either have an immigration hearing or be removed from the U.S.
Once we arrive to the facility, I'll let you give your wife a phone call and explain.
Do you ever wonder how Nectar can offer such an incredible deal for their adjustable bundle? This bundle includes the Nectar mattress, cooling pillows,
Legals against their will. The team enter the house without encountering
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts, man. Go ahead, leave a comment.
any resistance, but find evidence of the grim reality of the trafficking trade.
The interesting thing about this, in past drop houses, we found that these coyotes like to contact families and suggest, threat, and let them know that their family members are going to be hurt if the money that they want is not paid. Inside this house, we found a dummy that had a heavy coat on it, had a noose around its neck hanging from the ceiling. So I would say right off the bat what they're doing is they're probably filming this dummy from the backside to make it look like a human being, and they're sending pictures to the family members. So that's another new technique I'm sure they're using.
LT, can you get that attic cam?
Inside the house, they found 40 people hidden away.
How old is this girl here? ¿Cuántos años tienes? 12. ¿Cómo? 12. 12. ¿Y tú? 15. 15. ¿Y tú? 20. 20. ¿Y tú? 18. 18. She's 15, she's 12, she's 20, she's 18. When you go into a house as a tactical team and you see, 35, 40 people laying on the ground, with no shoes, in very poor living conditions, you have to have emotions. We're all human, we have emotions, and it's disturbing, but we have a job to do, and the job at this point was to rescue all the victims inside.
This one needs to be by himself. Among these people, they find one suspected coyote trying to blend in with the illegals. He's separated from the others. While searching at the back of the property, they find more evidence.
After coming through the backyard and securing the house, we started doing a perimeter search of any evidence outside this house. As we were looking through the back wall here, we found a 9mm Beretta handgun laying next to the wall. We believe that the coyotes that were in this house, they exited the back here, dumped the gun, jumped the fence to exit the scene altogether.
At the end of the operation, the victims are brought back to base to be processed. They are given food for the first time in days.
At the end of the processing, all these people will be turned over to the proper authorities, most likely Immigrations and Customs. They'll be deported back to their country of origin. But unfortunately, this whole process is going to start again. A lot of these individuals we'll see again in the near future. They'll get back to their country of origin. They'll pay another individual to get them back here into the United States. So it's an endless cycle. It continues. It's ongoing. We'll be out there every day hitting these drop houses, and you'll probably see a lot of these individuals on film again in the near future.
All right, guys, about 15 seconds. Dismount. Sheriff's Office, search warrant! Sheriff's Office, search warrant!
With no answer, the deputies at the front break in through the front door.
Sheriff's Office, search warrant! Sheriff's Office, search warrant! Sheriff's Office, search warrant!
The intelligence SWAT received before the operation is accurate. In the first bedroom, they find a woman and child hiding in a cupboard.
Walk around there.
Both visibly scared and distressed, the deputies make sure they are let out of the house safely.
Hey, just sort of walk out. Póntelo. Come on. Right here. Come on.
With the property cleared of suspects, a thorough search for evidence is conducted.
Good, Gary. All the ID stuff's in here.
At the back.
Hey, get a video a like, man, or share or something. Or we can have a conversation about immigration. Go ahead. We can talk about immigration, man.
Back of the trailer, equipment.
Listing your house on the market isn't the only way to sell your house. Selling to us is much faster, easier.
Equipment used to forge identity is found.
You got all pictures laid out, computer, printer, first room.
Thousands of fake IDs are found. All the evidence is collected and taken away to be used in the case against the two suspects arrested earlier.
The first room to our left, we found basically all the fraudulent documents, the printer, the pictures, the computer, all kinds of cutouts where they've been making false documents.
But this is the house here, and this is our guy, Jesus Marino Hernandez. He goes by Chuco, and he's been arrested 32 times from dangerous drugs, sales, aggravated assault on a police officer. His criminal history is like a book here. But
There's intelligence that the criminals use CCTV cameras to monitor the area around the properties.
A Quest guy went in to fix the phone, and when he left, he went to the PD, and he wrote this up. Chuco has a portable TV set on top of the dresser located on north wall. It's a surveillance monitor used to monitor the front yard, driveway and street, and the monitor also has sound.
With this information, deputies Rico and Sanchez have to work undercover to come up with a plan of attack on the property.
It's pretty dangerous because this is a really, really bad area. It's a high gang, high drug, high weapon traffic area. So obviously it is exactly what we're serving a search warrant for. It's drugs and weapons. We have intel that there's 3-point surveillance on this house. So that makes it extremely difficult to do our standard drive-bys on the house. So I'm gonna go in plain clothes. Just as you see me now, I guarantee you they're watching.
As they enter the neighborhood, the officers take every precaution not to be discovered.
Did you put your camera down? He's watching me hard, man. Watching everywhere, huh?
Rico gets out the car and begins his recon mission, trying to act as normal as possible. Sanchez drives round to the prearranged pickup point. And only 10 minutes later, Rico calls to check in.
Yeah, it drove by us twice. Yeah, hey, that gray truck passed by Rico 3 times.
The team believe they themselves are being tracked.
There was a truck that kept circling the area. It passed me 3 times. I think it passed you guys twice. So that's kind of not normal for this area. But there was a lot of people out, a lot of people in their front yards, a lot of people walking. So I think we blended in pretty well.
Later that night, after the team have been debriefed by Rico, they get kitted up and head out to hit the address. As the suspects have their own surveillance cameras, SWAT will hit the properties hard and fast to take them by surprise.
You're gonna be about 30 seconds out to target, 30 seconds.
Before the people in the house can react, the team smash and rake the windows.
Take it, take it.
You need to come out of the house. You need to do it now with your hands up.
The family living at the property are brought out.
Hey Glenn, we got the 101 coming right behind us. Stay behind me. This way.
The suspect is still unaccounted for, so SWAT enter the house to search the property thoroughly. In the living room, Rico discovers a large cache of weapons.
There's guns everywhere. Guns on the wall, everywhere. So guy come through that door.
The team move on to the property next door. The main suspect isn't found, but they do find his associate hiding from the deputies. He's also wanted on a drug-related warrant and is arrested.
Why would we do anything for... Keep being lazy about cleaning your apartment. No, seriously. Home Aglow will clean it for just $9. Home for you when you leave your daughter and your old lady over there, okay? Let's get them outside. Stand up.
Despite not being able to apprehend the main suspect, it's a good catch for the Maricopa County SWAT team. People smugglers, or coyotes as they're called, use SUVs like this as load vehicles.
How you doing? Get back in the van, please. Get back in the van. Back in the van. Put your hands up right now, everybody. Put your hands up, manos arriba. Manos arriba, now.
Manny discovers the vehicle is crammed full of people and calls for backup.
520 King, set me a couple units, please. Code 4.
As he checks the rest of the car, one of the passengers makes a run for it.
Hey! Come here. In the car now! 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 10-4. Hispanic male, dark shirt, blue jeans. He jumped the fence eastbound towards, probably angled like towards the substation there.
On his own, and with the prospect of armed coyotes in the car, Manny attempts to secure the vehicle.
Any weapons? Any pistolas? No, nothing. Everybody hands right here on the... Right here. Right there, all of you. Now. No, we're stuck here waiting. I'm not going to go chase the one guy, so...
With backup just minutes away, the driver takes the opportunity to escape.
Go! 520 King in the vehicle just took off on me.
514 King right behind him. 514 King down.
Under threat of punishment from their Mexican crime bosses, the smugglers have to deliver their human cargo at whatever the cost.
He's going over. Might have another